This is part 3 of Spider-Man and the X-Men. Spidey and his students have been captured by Mojo and his recent ally, Chameleon, and taken to Mojo World. The creatures, called the Spineless Ones, who inhabit this extra-dimensional space are obsessed with television and media, and Mojo is a showrunner for many sick and twisted reality TV shows involving unwilling guests. His latest show is Late Night with Spider-Man, and features Spider-Man, under mind control, as host, along with Hellion, Ernst, Rockslide, Glob and Shark Girl as the band. Eye Boy has been made the director, and no girl has been taken into captivity. Mojo is attempting to use his mental slaves to subdue No Girl's powers, because she is the only one who can undo his mind control. To introduce some excitement to the show, Mojo unleashes fighting holograms of 66 of Spider-Man and the X-Men's enemies from the past. While combating the holograms, Spidey and the X-Men start to slip back to reality, and realize that they have been kidnapped by Mojo. When Mojo deactivates the holograms, Spider-Man accuses Eye Boy of being the mole and selling him out to Mojo for a chance to work on a television show. Eye Boy concedes, but that's when Spider-Man realizes that he isn't Eye Boy at all, but Chameleon in disguise. Chameleon reactivates the holograms, and the battle resumes. That's when Rockslide has an idea. Since their enemies are holograms contained in this room, all they have to do to escape them is break out of the room. They don't actually have to defeat them by force. Hellion flings Ernst into a wall, and she breaks it down, allowing the team to escape. However, we learn that the real Eye Boy is being tortured by Mojo, who's forcing him to stare at dozens of television screens. He and No Girl are still in captivity, and the others have to find a way to rescue them and get back to their dimension. As Eye Boy is about to break from the torture, we see a clawed hand that resembles Wolverine's cut the television cables and freeing Eye Boy. Outside in the streets of Mojo World, the Spineless Ones, who have a hatred for the humans they see on television, start to attack Spider-Man and the gang. Hellion uses telekinesis to transport them all into an apartment above the street. There, they meet Gambit, and the X-Men are thrilled to see him. However, Spider-Man quickly realizes that this is Chameleon in disguise yet again. Chameleon pulls a gun on Glob, insisting that everyone return to the studio to finish filming the show. He uses Mojo's image replicator to create duplicates of himself and Glob, so that Spider-Man can't figure out who to attack. At that moment, Eye Boy blasts through a wall behind them, and identifies the real Chameleon. Spider-Man disarms him, and Eye Boy reveals that the torture that Mojo put him through actually ended up unlocking an ability to see electronic transmissions and see through false images. He can also see emotional connections, which is how he found Spidey and the gang. Eye Boy reveals his helpers, who he calls the X-Babies, kid versions of the X-Men, including Wolverine, who were de-aged by Mojo. Spider-Man takes little Logan aside, and tells him of the adult Logan's death in his universe. Composing himself, baby Wolverine rallies the X-Babies to take down Mojo. Meanwhile, Mojo is attempting to break open No Girl's glass case and destroy her. Spider-Man, the X-Kids, and the X-Babies bust into his studio. Rockslide, Hellion and Glob form a shield wall to protect the rest from Mojo's powers while they go for his legs. Mojo averts the attack, and Spider-Man is thrown to the ground. Hellion helps him up, but when he calls Spider-Man, Sir, Spidey once again realizes that this is the shape-shifting Chameleon. Following a brief struggle, Spidey pins him to the wall, and asks Eye Boy if he can see any weak points on Mojo. Eye Boy discovers that one of Mojo's legs is weaker than the others, and Rockslide breaks it. Mojo topples over and falls out the hole in the side of the building. But Spider-Man insists that Hellion save him. He says that they aren't evil, and can't kill Mojo. As Mojo prostrates before him and kisses his feet, Spider-Man tells him to send them back to their universe. Mojo opens up a portal before surrendering himself to the police. Spider-Man asks the X-Babies if they want to come along, but baby Wolverine says that they have to stay here in the Mojoverse. That's when baby Xavier and Magneto appear and challenge Logan to a fight. Spidey and the X-Kids take their cue to leave, and walk through the portal into the school, where a raging storm is waiting for them. In a series of epilogues, we see Mojo in prison gloating over the ratings for his show, Phoenix, Rachel Summers, waking up from sleep with the realization that Spider-Man is Peter Parker, and he's here on a secret mission, and a mysterious figure learning that his spy is back in this dimension. The unseen figure says that the new body their informant ordered is complete, perhaps giving us a clue to finding the identity of the mole, and that's how part 3 of Spider-Man and the X-Men ends. This video is sponsored by Shen Yun Creations. Every year, Shen Yun showcases classical Chinese dance with hundreds of performances in theaters worldwide. Now you can view the performances online at shenyuncreations.com. Use our code to get a discount. Visit shenyuncreations.com, use the QR code on the screen or the link in the description below, and use the code IND91. Hurry, offer ends soon. Join us next time to see if the mole is finally unmasked. What trials await Spider-Man and his ex-kids in Part 4?